Our average, if we average all my employees and the guitars, is about 55 hours per guitar. Now, that means there's more hours working on that guitar than the 55 because you got offices, you got guys sweeping stuff, you got all the overhead. And if a luthier could make a guitar in 55 hours, well, he can pretty easy, because 20 you could probably make a guitar. So it's just saying the extra labor or how not very, very good we do. But I think it's more that our guys are so skilled and they take it so far. Okay, so what we're trying to do is give you that. We're trying to make that better instrument. And in a day where it used to be, say, a car manufacturer, say Duesenberg, technology was not really available, but labor was. So they had zillions of hours in these Duesenbergs. Well, today technology is available. We really work out all the technology in it, plus we add the guitar. So we're trying to do the best of both worlds. We have CNC equipment, the best equipment, and then we make sure we set it up so we can make the best possible handmade on top of that. So it's the best of all worlds right now for making instruments for us. So that's roughly what we do. So if you have questions, I could take that. We can go from there. And all right, nothing? Okay. So that's roughly the way we work, trying to make it a better guitar.
Did you start out on dreadnoughts?
Did I start?
On dreadnoughts?
My first guitar, or when we started? My first guitar was a dreadnought, okay? And it was a combination between, it was the best guitar in the world. It was the best parts of Gibson, Guild, and Martin. And all the good things in each one was in this first guitar. And I learned I had my hands full. So, and I couldn't wait to start the second one. It was in a guitar, and it functioned, okay? And it was made on my kitchen table with a saw, a chisel, and a hammer, basically real raw tools. And it was great. Okay?
I have a question about the bolt-on necks on acoustic guitars.
Okay.
And how that compares favorably with the resonance of
Okay. That's a good question, and to a lot of people, it doesn't seem to make sense that we do that. In the years that I worked by myself, the main thing I did to make a living was do repair, and I would average a neck reset a week. And probably for 15 years, and that included a fret job and everything else. So it actually would pay the bills, that guitar, and allow you to work. Okay. In a violin where there's not a lot of tension, the head block doesn't want to stretch or pull away, because there's not a lot of tension on it. And that's a dovetail, and it's only about 1/8 of an inch deep, wouldn't you say? And when guitars started to be made they were made Spanish style, and they didn't have a dovetail. And then somewhere, I don't even know when, probably Martin or somebody in the 1850s started to run dovetail. And they did that because that was new technology. That made the guitar fast and easy to make for the time. I don't know if they had routers, chisels, or what those tools were. I have no idea. But the string gauges were light. Okay. And then in the 20s, when that came along, the string gauges got a little heavier. Okay. And then suddenly, 5 years later, the dovetail was subject to huge tension by guitars that were 3 times the size of what they were normally making. So this dovetail joint is in this block. There's a dovetail inside containing this block of wood. And my view was everyone I've ever seen in all the history of me doing neck resets, that block stretched. And it would splay a little on the back side of the guitar and pull a little forward. Okay, and that was, everybody said, oh, the side shift, all this stuff. But the more I saw it, the more I looked, I would see that the shape of the guitar in the front and the shape in the back, they didn't line up. The back was always pulled a little bit, and the top was always pushed in. But what I'd always seen was, when I take these out, that wood deformed in those years. It kind of just did this little morphing, little tiny bit. It doesn't take much, okay? But that was one of the things I saw. So really, here's this dovetail locked in this wood like this, and trying to do this to that wood, okay? So I didn't like that back in the 70s, okay? I made my first probably 50 guitars with dovetails. And they're easy. It's no big deal. But I didn't like that. But I remember picking up these banjos going, wow, those two bolts held this thing together. And I was kind of go, how are we going to deal with that? So back in, I think it was 78, I tried to make the best of both worlds. And I didn't want this block now held just by this much wood. I wanted it all the way through. So I encapsulated it, and I made it a solid block. So tonally, people say, oh, high glue this, high glue that, all these transfers and all that. Well, they're holding that neck on by this maybe a ½ inch of wood, and the end grain of the wood is flexing. I'm holding all the way through the wood. And I think it's a better way to do it. So we've done it, and our neck reset numbers are so low because of it. We can go and we put our bridge low to the top where it belongs rather than real high. So it used to be you buy a guitar and the bridge is sticking out of the top ½ inch, and you just grind it down every year, then you do a neck reset. Well, ours kind of stays there. So I think it's by far the best way, okay? And it's not just the bolt, it's the fit of everything, how it works. So, but that's a great question. Yeah. Well, only one per customer. Okay. No. Yeah.